Instant Mood Improver is recorded on Bunurong country. I pay my respects to local elders past, present and emerging, and acknowledge that sovereignty was never ceded, and this always was and always will be Aboriginal land. I'd also like to extend a warm welcome to any mob who may be listening today.
Put a pep in your step, turn your frown upside down, make it more fun to be around. Instant Mood Improver, Instant Mood Improver, Instant Mood Improver. The songs that make you feel happy again.
G'day everyone, thanks for tuning in to the pilot episode of Instant Mood Improver, a happy music podcast. I'm your host, freelance music journalist, content creator, and vocalist for Catholic Guilt, Brenton Harris. Each week on Instant Mood Improver, I'll be speaking to a guest about a song that instantly improves their mood the moment they hear it, using that as a leaping off point for a broader discussion about the role music plays in our overall happiness. Today's guest is Dylan Slocum of the fantastic Los Angeles-based emo rock band Spanish Love Songs. Dylan was recently in Australia on the band's maiden tour Down Under and was kind enough to join me for a discussion about the song that puts a pep in his step, turns his frown upside down, and makes him a little more fun to be around. Runaway With Me by Carly Rae Jepsen. G'day everyone, thanks again for tuning in to Instant Mood Improver, a music podcast where we talk about the songs that put a pep in your step, turn that frown upside down, and generally just make a super happy boy out of a sad emo boy. Today, that sad emo boy is Mr. Dylan from Spanish Love Songs. How are you, Dylan?
I'm doing great. How are you?
I'm doing well. Now, you are a man who is known for penning more than a few sad songs that sound happy. But I want to know, what song makes you feel happy the instant you hear it?
Oh, man. I can't say instantly happy is a very tough thing for me, but a song that comes on that I am not mad that it comes on and I will dance around and I will sing it and will have a generally good time is Runaway With Me by Carly Rae Jepsen. That is a guaranteed mini party.
I thought Carly Rae might pop up at some point during these podcast episodes, but I didn't think it'd be right off the bat. So what is it about this particular Carly Rae song that makes you feel all giddy inside?
Well, I think it's a few things. First off, it's not just the song. I'm going to go with the song, but if that song comes on, you bet I'm playing the entire album. That entire album is just, it's going. I think that song is just, it's freaking iconic. Like that, the sax intro, it's got an 80s synthwave thing going on that I love and isn't out of place with what I grew up with and what I just constantly want to listen to. And it's one of those songs just kind of, it's like a nice love song without being too cheesy. Yeah, it's just a good time. I think it's hard to find fault with it, you know, because you can do is like, there are songs that try to be uplifting or happy or lovey where you're kind of like, just shut up. Like, you're so full of shit. Stop it. But I don't get that from this song. You know what I mean? I think she does actually want to run away with this person, which is great. You know, who hasn't felt that?
Is that a lyrical narrative that connects with you as a person? Have you ever felt the desire to just run away with someone?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, that's literally, we have a song that says, I feel like burning down my life again, which is sort of a corollary to Run Away With Me, you know, like just set it all on fire and disappear. It's great. Yeah, I connect with that. I connect with that whole album. It's a wonderful album. And that song is just such a great introduction to the musical world of that album.
That's excellent. Now, music does have this capacity to kind of transform our emotions. And it can also make us incredibly nostalgic. It can make us happy, as I've mentioned. It could also make us sad.
Yeah.
What is it about the composition of the Carly Rae song that you think makes it sound like a happy song?
Oh, I mean, it's incredibly upbeat. I don't know what key it's in. I'm assuming it's in something like, what is it? I don't know. It's in some major key. I'm not going to try to guess. But it's just structured like a classic pop song, right? And it's got the sort of big intro, the down verse, and the chorus that hits the most gigantic chorus ever. And yeah, I think it's just a very propulsive song, right? And production wise, it has, you're right, it has sort of the 80s nostalgia with these sort of, you know, stints that are sort of drifting around and kind of taking you into a world that's reminiscent of something in the 80s that even if you didn't live through, you might, you know, remember from something. Just sort of this like warm, encompassing tone. And just even like down to the vocal production, right? It's like in the verses, she's kind of right there speaking to you. And then when the chorus hits, it's all doubled and it's huge and it's gigantic. And I think anything that takes on that approach is really aiming to be something of like an anthem. And I feel like anthems by their very nature are kind of uplifting, even if, you know, in this case, the lyrics are they're generally happy, right? I don't even know if they're happy, but they're engaging in a optimistic way. They're hopeful, right? It's not like she's saying, I want to run away with you and you won't run away with me. It's the question. It's, will you run away with me? Which is like a very hopeful thing. Like it's, whatever happens after running away could be terrible, but that doesn't matter because will you just run away with me? Because it's like a perfect horizon, even if what happened, you know, it's the freeze frame at the end of the movie.
I mean, that's something that music has the capacity to do too, like, probably better than any other art form, is preserve a moment in time. And that's an example of that. We don't know the next stage of the story, as you've quite rightly pointed out. And so we can live in that sort of optimistic zone along with Carly Rae in the song.
Yeah, absolutely. Sorry, my internet is dropping in and out too. Or as you described it, Australian internet. That's great.
Yeah, it's Australian internet. That's how it works.
Yeah, it's something I'm learning as I'm trying to work while we're here. Yeah, it's I think songs are maybe the best at that, right? And they can play around with that sort of feeling. We've captured this moment in time, and this moment in time is all that matters, because you don't, like, unless it's like an album that covers more than that moment, that is the encapsulation of that time. It's also why I'm fascinated with something that doesn't happen as much with what does it happen on this song? It does happen on this song. Oh, another classic thing is the fade out, right? Because it was a huge production technique for a long time, because it sort of creates this emotion that whatever is happening is just going to keep happening. And it just sort of goes on into infinity, and it's great. And when you do that with a song like this, it's like, it's good times for as far as the eye can see. And I think that that's another interesting production technique that happens on this. I think it happens. I'm like 99% sure the song ends with a fade out. And so, yeah, that's great. I think it's the same thing, right? It's this eternal optimism. And yeah, this moment in time that'll never end, because it literally fades out into infinity. It's great. Movies can do it a little bit. I mean, I guess like still paintings and photographs are maybe the ultimate capture of this moment in time, but I think maybe that's what a lot of art is trying to do is capture not only a feeling, but a feeling at a very specific time and place.
Absolutely. Now, it wouldn't be worth coming on a podcast if you didn't have an opportunity to promote something. And thankfully for you, you have a brand new, brilliant record to promote. So your fourth full length is about to drop in a couple of weeks' time. Yep. And it is a follow-up to what I would consider to be the breakthrough record in your career, Brave Faces, Everyone. Mm-hmm. What is it about No Joy that you think is a level up from the prior record?
Yeah, I think this is a very funny podcast for me to be on, because it's our attempt at least bringing that feeling of happiness into the music, something that'll sort of make you feel like, oh man, this eternal optimism. It's great. And even the songs are more optimistic. They're all a collection of love songs in their own like weird, twisted ways. But doing that, but with the context of how we approach songs, which is usually a bit more capturing a moment in time, but with all of its imperfections and awfulness front and center. So, like the first song, Lifers, on the album is actually a very vaguely Runaway With Me type thing. It's, it's talking about our, ongoing struggles with depression and not wanting to be around or not enjoying how our bodies feel or look, and how this feelings are never going to stop. But like, do you think we can run away from it together? Do you think we'll get through it? And like, Do you think we'll survive our impending deaths at some point in the distant future? And I don't know, but let's hang in there together type thing. And it also ends on a fade out. It's actually maybe our most Carly Rae song we've ever written. So this is great. I'm just piecing this together right now.
I actually had the thought myself when I was listening to the record. I'm like, there's a lot of different things going on for you stylistically on the record in terms of the layering of synths and things like that. And it really does give it that kind of timeless pop element, that timeless positivity.
Yeah. Yeah, that's my sweet spot. I love songs that sound happy, that make you feel like crap. That's just like the best type of music, because it gets heavy-handed when something is serious and then the music sounds serious on top of it. It can like really drag you down. And sometimes you want that, but I usually don't. I usually want to be like pumping my fist while crying. You know what I mean? Like I want people to be crying on the dance floor. That's just like the best feeling, because you're covering the range of emotions all at once.
That's awesome. And that brings to a close the first ever episode of Instant Mood Improver. A massive shout out to Dylan from Spanish Love Songs for joining me today for this conversation all about Carly Rae Jepsen and of course about Spanish Love Songs' brilliant new record, No Joy, which is out now via Pure Noise Records. If you've enjoyed the podcast today, then I'd highly appreciate if you went out and gave me a follow at Instant Mood Improver on Instagram, TikTok, and Facebook, and then you hit the subscribe button wherever you're listening to podcasts. For those of you listening on Spotify, we'll now leave you with a beautiful back-to-back combination of Carly Rae Jepsen's Runaway With Me, and of course, Clean Up Crew by Spanish